Hey everyone! Welcome back to English Daily Talk, your space for real stories, real emotions, and real English. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Chris. It's really good to have you with us again. If you're new here, the C1 series is where we slow down and go deeper, not only into vocabulary, but into the emotional side of communication, the part we usually hide.
Today's episode is called The Courage to Be Uncomfortable. And before we even start, I want to say something that might sound strange. If your English journey feels uncomfortable, that doesn't mean you're failing.
It may mean you're finally doing the right thing.
Because learning a language isn't just learning words. It's learning how to show up when you feel exposed, how to speak when you don't have the perfect sentence, how to stay in the room when your brain is screaming. Get out.
So, as usual, we'll begin with a story, then we'll reflect together and have an honest discussion. After that, we'll do a language spotlight with C1 level expressions you can borrow for your speaking and writing.
If you can, grab a drink, find a quiet place, and let your mind slow down for a bit.
Ready?
Let's step into the discomfort together. I want to start with a scene that still makes my shoulders tense when I remember it. And I know that sounds dramatic, because the scene is an elevator.
Elevators have a special power. They're like tiny boxes that turn everyday life into a social experiment.
Exactly. So, this happened on a humid Monday morning. I had woken up late, which means my whole morning was already running on stress. You know that feeling where you're brushing your teeth too fast, your hair is still half wet, and your brain is already apologizing to the entire world.
Sorry I exist. Sorry I'm late. Sorry for breathing. That kind of morning.
That kind of morning. I left my apartment with my laptop bag pulling my shoulder down, and I rushed toward the elevator. In my building, the elevator is slow, like it's thinking about its life choices while it moves. And that day, I needed it to move like it had purpose.
Purposeful elevator. I respect that.
The doors opened, and there was already someone inside. A man, maybe in his late 30s, wearing a clean white shirt, holding a paper coffee cup, eyes on his phone. He looked calm in a way I couldn't relate to.
The kind of calm that makes you suspicious.
I stepped in, nodded, gave the small, polite smile, and faced the door like a normal introvert. The elevator doors closed. And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, the elevator stopped on the next floor.
And someone else got in.
A woman got in. She had bright energy. Like, the kind of energy that fills a room before she even speaks. She wore headphones around her neck and carried a tote bag with a big logo. She smiled at both of us like we were already friends.
This is the type of person who says, "How are we doing today?" and actually expects an answer.
Exactly. And she said it. She said, "Good morning."
And the elevator instantly became a meeting.
Yes, I answered quietly. Good morning. The man looked up and nodded. The woman's eyes landed on my laptop bag, and she said, "Are you going to the co-working space on Maple Street?"
Oh no.
I know. The question itself is harmless, but something in me panicked, because I knew what was coming next. The small talk, the follow-up questions, the conversation where I might have to explain things quickly, the conversation where my English might start to wobble.
The conversation where you're not in control.
Exactly. And here's the key detail. I wasn't in my home country. I was living abroad at the time. My English was good. More than good. I could handle meetings. I could present. I could write. But spontaneous, friendly small talk with a stranger in a small elevator. That was a different skill.
Because small talk isn't about grammar. It's about timing. It's about rhythm. It's about being relaxed enough to let your sentence be imperfect.
Yes. So my brain did that thing where it tries to buy time. It produced a sentence that was technically correct but emotionally cowardly. I said, sometimes.
Sometime. A perfect escape hatch.
Exactly. It wasn't a lie. but it was also not a real answer. The woman smiled and said, "Oh, nice. I go there almost every day. It's such a good vibe. What do you do?"
And now there's no escape.
My heart did this little jump. It felt like my body had moved 5 seconds ahead of my mind. I could feel the answer in my head, but the words weren't ready.
Like your thoughts were on one floor and your mouth was on another.
Yes, and I had options. I could say, "I'm a designer," or "I work in marketing," or "I'm a product manager." Any simple label would have worked. But my brain, in its infinite creativity, decided to start a complicated explanation.
Classic.
I said, I do, uh, I work with, like, content, and language, and
The sentence is falling down the stairs.
falling down the stairs with confidence. The woman waited. She didn't look impatient. She looked curious. And that made it worse, because I didn't want to disappoint her with my messy sentence.
Discomfort isn't only fear. Sometimes it's the pressure of being seen kindly.
Exactly. And then the man in the white shirt, who had been quiet, looked up and said, "Content and language. Are you a teacher?"
He rescued you?
He did. And I could have grabbed that rescue and climbed out. I could have said, "Yes, I teach." But the truth was more specific. I wasn't a teacher. I was building a project. I was creating episodes, scripts, audio, learning materials. I was trying to build something bigger than a simple job title.
And you wanted to be understood properly.
Yes. So I said, "Not exactly. I'm building, like a podcast for English learners. It's like stories and conversation. And yeah,
That's actually clear.
it was clearer than I expected. But my voice was shaky, and my sentence had those little ums like speed bumps. The woman's eyes lit up. She said, "That's amazing. What's it called?"
And that's where it gets real.
Because now it wasn't just small talk. Now it was identity. Now I had to say the name. I had to claim it. And my brain suddenly turned the name into a fragile object. Like if I said it wrong, it would break.
Language learners know this feeling. When a word becomes too important to pronounce.
Exactly. I swallowed and said, "It's called English Daily Talk."
Nice.
The woman smiled and said, "Oh, I love that name. Do you post on YouTube?"
She's supportive. She's interested. She's giving you everything.
And I still felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable because my English wasn't the problem anymore. The problem was the feeling. Being seen while I'm still building. Being asked questions while I'm still becoming.
That's the heart of it. Discomfort is often the moment your identity is stretching.
Yes, I said. Yes, on YouTube and audio platforms. And then I tried to sound confident, but my confidence was like a jacket that didn't fit properly.
Too tight in the shoulders.
Exactly. The elevator continued down, stopping on more floors. 2 more people got in. Suddenly, the elevator was full. And somehow, the conversation stayed with us. The woman asked what kind of episodes I made, what level, what topics.
And you had to keep speaking.
I did. And here's what surprised me. After maybe 30 seconds, my body stopped panicking. My breathing became normal again. My brain started offering words instead of blocking them. I even made a small joke about how English learners are braver than they think.
That's the moment discomfort transforms.
Yes. But it only transformed because I stayed. I didn't run. I didn't hide behind one-word answers. I didn't pretend I was busy. I stayed inside the awkwardness long enough for it to become human.
That's such an important lesson. Discomfort is often temporary, but we treat it like a permanent danger.
Exactly. We treat discomfort like a red light. when sometimes it's just a sign that we're walking into new territory.
So what happened when you reached the ground floor?
The doors opened. People stepped out. The woman turned to me and said, "Seriously, that's cool. If you ever need a guest, I love talking about learning."
Wow.
I smiled and said, "Thank you. I might actually take you up on that." And I meant it.
And then,
Then I walked out of the building and realized my hands weren't shaking anymore. I felt strangely proud. Not because my English was perfect, but because I stayed. I stayed in the moment that made me uncomfortable.
and you didn't die.
Shocking. I know.
That's what the brain needs to learn. Discomfort feels like danger, but it's often just growth.
Exactly. And later that day, I kept thinking, if I had avoided that conversation, I would have stayed safe, but I would have missed connection, encouragement, and practice.
You would have chosen comfort over possibility.
Yes. And I realized something else. I wasn't afraid of speaking English. I was afraid of being imperfect in front of someone. Thuri?
That's a deeper fear.
Much deeper. There's one more part of that day that matters. Because the elevator moment didn't end when the doors opened. It followed me, quietly, like a song that keeps playing in your head even after you leave the cafe.
What happened?
I got to the co-working space, sat down, opened my laptop, and tried to work like a normal person. But my mind kept replaying the conversation, like a highlight reel. I remembered my ums. I remembered the pause before I said the name. I remembered the moment my voice went slightly higher, like it does when I'm nervous.
The brain loves to replay anything that felt risky.
Yes. And here's the thing. The conversation had gone well, but my brain didn't care. It started doing what I call late criticism. You know, when you speak, and then 2 hours later you suddenly become a strict judge.
Now, why did you say it like that? You should have used this word. You sounded weird. They probably think you're incompetent.
Exactly. And I could feel that old habit trying to take control again. The habit of shrinking. The habit of deciding. Okay, that was enough speaking for today. Let's stay quiet now.
That's the comfort reflex.
Yes. So I made a small decision. I said to myself, I'm not going to let my brain close the door. I opened my phone and recorded a short voice note, in English, to myself.
To yourself.
Yes, just 30 seconds, I said. Today I had an elevator conversation. I felt nervous, but I stayed. I explained my project. I'm proud of that. Next time, I'll try to speak more smoothly, but I'm not going to punish myself.
That's powerful.
It wasn't perfect. I stumbled. I repeated words. But I did it anyway. And it felt like I was training a new muscle. Self-support.
Because discomfort isn't only about the moment. It's also about what happens after. The inner conversation.
Exactly. Later, when I went to get coffee, I saw the same woman from the elevator in the hallway. She waved and said, "Hey, podcast girl."
That's adorable.
I laughed. And you know what? I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt included, like I had entered a tiny community by accident. And all of that happened because I didn't hide.
That's such a clear reward. Connection.
Yes. And it made me realize something. Sometimes discomfort is the entrance fee for belonging. You pay a small price, awkwardness, and you get something bigger. Connection, practice, confidence.
I want to underline that for listeners. Discomfort is often the price of admission for the life you want.
Exactly.
Let's pause here, because I think this story hits something universal. A lot of listeners might think, I'm not shy. I can speak. I just don't like feeling uncomfortable.
Yes. And it's important to separate those. Shyness is a personality trait. Discomfort is an experience. Even confident people can feel uncomfortable.
In fact, confident people often become confident because they have practiced being uncomfortable. Son,
Exactly. Confidence is not the absence of discomfort. It's the decision to move anyway. See,
so let's talk about why discomfort feels so intense, especially in a second language.
for me, it's because language is connected to identity. In your native language, you can be witty, subtle, strategic. In a second language, sometimes you feel like a simpler version of yourself.
Like your personality gets compressed.
Yes, you might have deep thoughts, but you can only express them with basic tools. So you feel exposed. And then you start protecting yourself.
Protection strategies. Staying quiet, avoiding situations, using short answers, pretending you didn't hear the question.
Exactly. And sometimes those strategies are necessary. We're human. We have days where we're tired. But if we always protect ourselves, we never expand.
It becomes a comfortable prison.
Yes. Comfort can be a cage. It feels safe, but it keeps you small.
I want to highlight something from your elevator story. The discomfort didn't disappear because you found the perfect words. It disappeared because your nervous system realized, I'm safe here.
Yes. Safety came from experience, not from perfection.
This matters because many learners think, I'll speak more when I feel ready.
And the truth is, you don't get ready before speaking. You get ready by speaking.
Exactly. Readiness is not a feeling that arrives like a gift. It's a result.
And we should say something very clearly. Discomfort is not a sign that you're bad at English.
It's a sign that you care, and you're trying something real.
Yes. If you only speak when you're comfortable, you're probably staying inside familiar sentences.
Familiar topics, familiar patterns, familiar vocabulary.
And your English becomes predictable, smooth, but limited.
There's nothing wrong with being smooth. But if you want C1 level ability, you need flexibility. You need to handle moments where the sentence isn't ready.
You need to learn to stand in the mess for a moment.
There's a phrase I love. Stay with the discomfort.
That phrase changes everything. Because it suggests discomfort is a place you can stand, not something that controls you.
Exactly. Discomfort is an experience. You can observe it. Oh, my chest feels tight. My thoughts are racing. I want to escape. You can notice it without obeying it.
That's a powerful skill.
So, how do we build that courage practically?
I have 3 ideas. The first is redefine discomfort as information, not a warning.
Like episode 13, mistakes as data.
Yes. Discomfort is data. It tells you, this situation matters to you. Or you're stretching. Or you're being seen.
It's not saying, stop. It's saying, pay attention.
Exactly. Second, create tiny discomfort on purpose.
Like exposure therapy, but gentle.
Yes. Not dramatic challenges. Just small ones. Say one sentence to a barista. Ask one follow-up question to a colleague. Join a conversation for 30 seconds.
30 seconds is enough to train your nervous system.
Yes. And third, stop waiting to feel confident. Instead, aim to feel present.
That's good. Confidence is an outcome. Presence is a choice.
Exactly. If you can be present, you can handle discomfort. You can breathe, listen, respond, even with imperfect English. So,
And presence makes you more likable. 2. People don't need perfect grammar. They need connection.
yes, most people respond to energy more than accuracy.
This is why so many learners are shocked when native speakers say, your English is great. Even though the learner can hear their own mistakes.
Because the native speaker is hearing clarity and effort, not microscopic grammar errors.
Right. Let's expand the reflection with something practical. Not all discomfort is the same. And if you can name the type of discomfort you're feeling, You can respond more wisely.
Yes. Let's map it out. I think there are at least 4 common types for language learners.
Okay. Type 1.
Type 1 is performance discomfort. This is when you feel you have to perform well, like speaking in a meeting, giving an opinion, presenting, interviewing.
The fear is, if I make mistakes, they will judge my competence.
Exactly. For this type, preparation helps. A few key phrases, a simple structure, and permission to pause.
Type 2.
Social discomfort. This is small talk, jokes, casual conversations, group chats. It's not about competence. It's about belonging.
The fear is, I won't fit in. I won't be quick enough.
Yes. And the solution isn't perfect grammar. It's curiosity. Ask questions. Show interest. Let the other person do more of the talking.
Type 3.
Identity discomfort. This is when you speak about something personal. Your dreams, your values, your project, your story. Like in my elevator moment.
The fear is, if I can't express myself well, I'll feel misunderstood.
Yes. For this, you need patience with yourself. Identity takes time to translate.
And type 4.
Visibility discomfort. This is when you're simply being seen using English. Maybe you're on a call, speaking in public, or your classmates are listening. Your English becomes visible.
The fear is, I'm exposed.
Exactly. And for this, repetition helps. You do it many times until your body learns it's safe.
That's a great framework. And here's an important point. Discomfort is not a sign you should stop. It's a sign you should choose a strategy.
Yes. Discomfort doesn't tell you what to do. It tells you what you're feeling.
And that gives you power. Because when you can name the feeling, you can decide your response.
Let's give listeners some self-talk scripts, because the inner dialogue can either support you or sabotage you.
Okay, 3 supportive scripts.
Script 1. This feels uncomfortable because it matters. I can handle a little discomfort.
Script 2. I don't need to be impressive. I just need to be clear.
Script 3. I can pause. I can rephrase. I can try again.
And now, 3 common sabotage scripts, so people recognize them.
Sabotage 1. If I can't say it perfectly, I shouldn't say it.
Sabotage 2. They're judging me.
Sabotage 3. I'm not ready.
And we want to gently challenge those.
Yes. Let's challenge they're judging me. Sometimes people are judging. Sure. But most of the time, they're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about their coffee, their schedule, their own worries.
People are less focused on you than your anxiety suggests.
Exactly. And even if someone judges you, that doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means they have their own limitations.
Another practical angle. What do you do when you feel that panic wave in the middle of a sentence? And so,
First, breathe out slowly. People often inhale when nervous and then speak on empty air. A slow exhale gives your voice stability.
second,
Use a bridge phrase. A bridge phrase connects your thought to your next sentence and buys you time. For example, let me think for a moment. How can I explain this? What I'm trying to say is
third,
simplify. If your sentence is collapsing, don't force a complicated structure. Use shorter sentences. Clarity is more important than elegance in the moment.
and that's not basic. That's strategic communication.
Exactly. C1 speakers can use simple sentences on purpose.
Let's add one more thing. Discomfort is not only personal, it's cultural sometimes.
True. In some cultures, speaking confidently can feel like showing off, or asking questions can feel like challenging authority. So discomfort can come from your values. not your English.
which means you might need to find a style that fits you.
Yes, you don't have to copy a loud personality. You can speak softly and still be powerful. You can be respectful and still be clear.
That's a relief for many listeners.
Absolutely.
I think listeners would benefit from a few mini role plays, short examples of how to stay in the discomfort.
Yes. Let's do 3 quick scenarios.
So, what do you think about the new policy?
I'm not fully sure I understood the question. Could you rephrase it a little?
Notice how that sentence is calm and confident.
Yes. You don't apologize for existing. You simply ask for clarity.
Now, why do you choose this approach?
That's a good question. Give me a second to think. Okay, so the main reason is
This is a C1 skill. You manage the conversation, not just the vocabulary. How was your weekend?
it was, how do I say, relax. Relaxing. It was relaxing. I didn't do much, but I needed that.
Perfect. You correct yourself without panic.
Yes. Self-correction is normal. Native speakers do it constantly.
And if you can treat it as normal, your discomfort drops.
Exactly.
Let's do a short guided segment, something practical you can try this week.
We'll call it a small discomfort plan. You can write this down, or just listen and choose one idea.
Step 1. Pick a situation that is slightly uncomfortable, not terrifying.
Examples: leaving a voice note in English, asking a simple question at work, joining a group chat, calling a restaurant, introducing yourself to a new person.
Step 2. Choose a simple goal that's about presence, not perfection.
For example, I will ask one follow-up question. Or I will share one opinion. Or I will speak for 10 seconds.
Step 3. Prepare one anchor phrase.
An anchor phrase is a sentence you can use when your brain freezes. Like, give me a second, I'm thinking. Or let me rephrase that. Or what I mean is,
Step 4. When discomfort arrives, label it.
say in your head, this is discomfort, not danger. That alone can lower panic.
Step 5. After the moment, do a gentle review.
Not a punishment review. A learning review. Ask, what went well? What did I communicate? What word did I need? What will I try next time?
And then celebrate.
Yes. Celebrate the courage, not the perfection.
Time for the language spotlight. C1 level expressions and structures you can borrow. We'll keep it practical. Phrases that help you handle discomfort in real conversations.
We'll give you the phrase, the meaning, and a natural example. 1. I felt exposed. Meaning, you felt seen in a vulnerable way, like others could judge you. Example, when they asked me to introduce myself, I felt exposed, even though everyone was kind. 2. My confidence wavered. Meaning, your confidence became shaky or unstable. Example, at first my confidence wavered, but after a minute I relaxed. 3. I wanted to disappear. Meaning, you wanted to escape the situation. Very common emotional expression. Example, when I couldn't find the right word, I wanted to disappear, but I stayed. 4. I bought myself time. Meaning, you used a strategy to pause and think. Example, I bought myself time by saying, that's a good question. Let me think. 5. I took the easy way out. Meaning, you chose the safer, simpler option instead of the brave one. Example, I took the easy way out and gave a one-word answer. 6. I stayed with the discomfort. Meaning, you remained present even though it felt uncomfortable. Example, I stayed with the discomfort until my brain calmed down. 7. It was out of my comfort zone. Meaning, it was beyond what felt safe or familiar. Example, speaking in that meeting was out of my comfort zone, but it helped me grow. 8. I second-guessed myself. Meaning, you doubted your own decision or words. Example, I second-guessed myself after speaking, but later I realized it was fine. 9. I stumbled over my words. Meaning, you spoke with hesitation or mistakes. Example, I stumbled over my words, but people still understood me. 10. What held me back was meaning, a powerful structure to explain a deeper reason. Example, what held me back wasn't vocabulary. It was fear of being judged.
Let's add a few more C1 expressions that are especially useful for uncomfortable moments, because these phrases make you sound fluent, even when you're thinking. 11. I'm still finding my footing. Meaning, you're still adjusting and learning in a new situation. Example, I'm still finding my footing in English meetings, but I'm improving. 12. I felt a bit out of place. Meaning, you didn't feel like you belonged. Example, at first I felt out of place, but then I joined the conversation. 13. I was on the verge of meaning, very close to doing something, often quitting or leaving. Example, I was on the verge of staying silent, but I decided to speak. 14. I pushed through. Meaning, you continued even though it was difficult. Example, I pushed through the awkwardness and finished my point.
Quick pronunciation note for listeners. When you use phrases like let me or give me, native speakers often connect the sounds. Let me sounds like lemmy. Give me sounds like gimme.
You don't need to force it, but hearing it helps you understand real speech.
Also, a powerful C1 habit is using contrast. I was nervous, but I didn't back out. I wasn't fluent, but I was clear. I felt exposed, but I stayed.
Contrast structures make your speaking sound organized and mature. Let's add 2 advanced connectors that make your speaking sound more C1. A, even though, example, even though I knew the grammar, I froze. B, despite the fact that, example, despite the fact that everyone was friendly, I still felt nervous.
And here's a useful mini dialogue you can practice. Imagine someone asks you a question and you need time. Say,
You can say, give me a second, I'm trying to find the right word. Let me rephrase that. What I mean is, I'm not sure how to put it, but...
These phrases don't make you sound weak. They make you sound thoughtful.
Exactly. They keep you in the conversation.
Last language spotlight tip. Replace I'm shy with I feel uncomfortable.
That small change is powerful.
Because shy sounds permanent. Uncomfortable sounds temporary. And workable.
Before we end, I want to return to the title. The courage to be uncomfortable.
Because courage is often misunderstood. People imagine courage as being fearless.
But fearlessness is rare.
Courage is feeling the discomfort and choosing to move anyway.
And in language learning, that's the whole game. You're training not only your vocabulary, but your nervous system.
You're training your ability to stay present when you feel exposed.
And if you practice that, something changes. The discomfort doesn't disappear completely, but it stops controlling you.
You become someone who can say, yes, I feel awkward right now, and I can still speak.
That is freedom.
So, here's a small invitation for this week. Choose one moment to be a little uncomfortable on purpose. So,
One moment.
not to suffer, not to prove something, but to grow.
And after you do it, tell yourself, I stayed, I tried, I didn't run.
That's the kind of sentence that builds a new identity.
Thank you for listening to English Daily Talk.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can share it with someone who needs a little courage today. And if you want, leave a comment with one small discomfort challenge you'll try this week.
We read them, and we're cheering for you.
as always, take care of yourself, speak kindly to yourself, and keep going, especially when it's uncomfortable.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.